All right, welcome to another episode of Dallas Cowboys Overtime here on StarTelegram.com. I am forward Star Telegram columnist Mac Engel, joined by my good friend, backup Dallas Mavericks shooting guard Clarence E. Hill Jr.
I need more energy. You look like what's going on? Where's your energy today?
Do you feel like it's a little low?
I feel like it's a little low.
No, it's pretty well. I got a big game tonight. The Dallas Stars start their quest to win the Stanley Cup. They've got game one of the Stanley Cup Western Conference Final Series against the Edmonton Oilers, where they are the heavy favorite. They should win. I don't know if they can beat Florida in the next round. I think Florida's going to get through. I don't know if they can beat Florida in the next round, but I think they're going to beat Edmonton. But before we get into the Cowboys, Stars, and the absolute disaster train wreck that is the Texas Rangers, we're actually not going to talk about them right now. We're going to celebrate the absolute butt kicking, 4-point butt kicking, administered by the Dallas Mavericks in game one of the NBA's Western Conference Finals last night in Minneapolis, 108-104. Clarence, I got to tell you, let's play in the parade route. Mavs GM Nico Harrison deserves all kind of credit for remaking this team on the fly this spring. I know coming into this series, Minnesota was the hot team because they dumped the NBA champs, including winning Game 7 on their floor in Denver to get to the West Finals. And everybody was all excited about Ant-Man and Anthony Edwards. And he calls out Kyrie Irving. I'm going to take Kyrie. And Kyrie goes up to Minneapolis last night and abuses Anthony Edwards. Luka Doncic looked great. I know we fall for this every time. In a playoff series, the team that won the last game is never going to lose again. The team that lost the last game is never going to win again. But when I look at this series, I think Dallas is the better team right now. And I know there's some matchup problems because of Minnesota's height, but they won game one on Minnesota's home floor. And to me, that was not an upset at all.
No, it wasn't. It's funny because we're starting to broadcast, and Candy, our producer, said, "Are we starting with Mavericks over Cowboys?" I know it's Cowboys overtime, but the Mavericks are all the rage right now, especially after last night's game. And I did the topics, after the game last night, and even watching the first half. You look at that game last night, and all the threes. You say Minnesota's bigger, but it was the Mavericks who were getting all the points in the paint.
I know.
It was Minnesota who was shooting all the threes. And for them to shoot lights out the way they did, and the Mavericks to only be down 3 because Kyrie was in his bag in the first half, I said, advantage Mavs. I said that at halftime, advantage Mavs. Minnesota's shooting was unsustainable. They weren't going to be able to shoot like that in the second half. They did. They had shot 49 3-pointers last night. Made 18. Mavs did not even shoot well from 3. That's the thing. The Mavs won, and they're usually a pretty good 3-point shooting team. They didn't have their best game shooting, but they were the better team. They had the 2 best players on the court for much of the game, and Kyrie in the first half and Luka in the second half. That was the difference in the game, and that's going to be the difference in the series. Someone said the other day that Luka and Kyrie may be one of the best backcourts ever.
Who said that? I can't. Somebody prominent said that. And I remember when they brought Kyrie here, one of the Mavs broadcasters told me, he said, from a scoring standpoint, that backcourt will be absolutely unguardable, electric. And so if you go back and look at this, the only way this team is where it is today is not the Kyrie trade. It's the fact that they went out and got Daniel Gafford and PJ. Those guys have remade this.
They were playing with power the last 2 years inside. And listen, we love Kleber too, but that was their big men. They got real big men now. And to offset, you talk about how big Minnesota is, but I like Lively. I like Gafford because they play down low. They're true big men. They block shots, they rim protect, they dunk. They're not hunting threes.
Well, and not only that, if you look at,
which is why the Mavericks were out-rebounding Minnesota.
I know. And that's one thing I didn't see coming. But, after Game 7, when Denver lost to Minnesota, Nikola Jokic said it about Minnesota. They were built to beat us, and they did. Minnesota's not built to play Dallas. Minnesota's not built to play Boston. Minnesota's not built to play even Indiana. And I'm not saying that they're not going to win the series, but because you can convince me pretty easily that of the 4 remaining teams in the NBA, any of them can win. And I love it. I love the fact that this is wide open now, and you've got 8 to 10 teams they can make a case that they can win a championship, whereas in the past it was usually no more than 2 to 4
Well, the
tops.
dynasties are dead. I think it's been 6 straight different champions. If you go back, and it's funny because after the Denver loss, the Denver coach complained about the long season and we won and being tired. And now last night you got Ant talking about they were tired from the 7-game series. You don't think LeBron was tired going to the finals every year? You don't think Golden State was tired going to the finals every year, winning 3 out of 4 years? But champions rise up to the occasion. We're not going to give tired as an excuse.
I kind of rolled my eyes on that, and I know this is down a different direction. But you talk about, I've heard the dynasties are dead thing. I don't think ever we can give enough credit to what LeBron James did in carrying 8 different teams, going to the finals 8 straight years. I know he didn't win them all, and it was like Michael Jordan's better because of that. Getting a team, different teams, dramatically different teams to the finals 8 straight years is to me, one of the more unappreciated details to his incredible career. One thing about the Mavs, when we watched them play last night against Minnesota, and the thing that gave me so much like thinking that they can do this, that they can play pretty different styles and win. I don't know if any of the other teams, I don't think Boston can do that necessarily. And I think it's one of the reasons why Indiana's going to have trouble against Boston is that Indiana pretty much has to play at one pace. Dallas can play kind of at a couple of different shifts, different gears, and still win. Going into this series, did you think Dallas would beat Minnesota?
I did.
Why? What was it about
Luka and Kyrie? Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah. Okay, so that leads us into the next
love
thing.
Ant-Man, and but again, Luka and Kyrie were the best 2 players on the court last night. I mean, and it's coming, but they're just too hard to guard. And the thing about it is unlike last series, Luka looks healthy.
Yeah, he does look. And not only that, and you said it, Kenny, this you can bring up. We're talking about Luka Doncic, and we've kind of run out of words to describe this guy. You're right. He does look healthy, and there was one play last night. I mean, you talk about guardable. The best offensive players in basketball, and have this been this way for a long time, are pretty much unguardable. But he can get to all these different spots and hit his shot. But, man, he made a pass last night. That was. I know
what you're talking about. They didn't finish. Got blocked.
It got blocked. Did it get blocked, or did he just miss the dunk?
No, he got blocked. He got blocked from behind. Yeah, Lively got blocked.
It is one of the. He makes passes. So this is basically a 3/4 court bounce pass to, I think it was a James Jones.
No, it was to Lively.
It was to Derek Lively.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was Lively. So Lively gets it in stride for a dunk, and he gets the dunk blocked. And the pass, he does things. I was trying to describe him to a friend of mine. He will see plays that you would think, yeah, that's not a good idea. And then he might even see a play that a pretty good player could try, but he's not going to convert. He can see plays and can convert them at a level that I like. I mean, have you seen the accuracy of his alley-oop passes?
No, it's incredible. I was watching the game with Spud Webb and some friends last night, and
that's a quality name drop, by the way.
It was quality name drop. Yeah,
that's a good one. That's good. Did Eric Metcalf text you, by the way, when that was going on?
He's a Knicks fan, so I've been killing him. But we were watching the game, and just when you brought up that play, you didn't finish it, but did you see that pass? Did you see that pass? And it's funny to me because Ant called out Kyrie.
Totally. I'm going to cover Kyrie.
Why did he call out Luka? Why did he call out Luka? You put the handcuffs on Murray. You put the handcuffs. Well, I'm going to get Kyrie next. Why did you call out Luka? Because Luka's 6'7" and unguardable. Okay,
Luka's closer to 6'9".
Okay, whatever. The point is, he's too big for you. That's
totally.
He's slow, but he's so big. He's so methodical. He's so fundamental. He don't even have speed, but he can change speeds. He's just unguardable. When he's on, you can't do anything with him. And then he gets in the lane and he throws out these alley-oops. Those big guys, all do is rise up and dunk because you got to go with his shot fakes and everything else. So, but yeah, then Ant, why'd you call out Luka? That's what I want to know. Why'd you call out Kyrie?
I gave him a pass on this. This is why. Because the way I read it was, that's going to be my assignment. You're not going to put a 6 foot. Well, you're not going to put the 6'4" guy, which is what Anthony Edwards is, on Luka Doncic. You're not. And I mean, that's just a mismatch.
Okay,
it's a bad idea.
So who does the point guard take? See, that's the problem, because they got I can't even think of his name.
Mike Conley.
Conley. So if you're on Kyrie, then who's Conley take?
That was the part that I didn't understand when I'm watching it. I'm like, wait a minute, is that his matchup? Is that what? And I'm like, okay. And if you're the head coach, if you're the Timberwolves head coach, and Anthony Edwards, who's a phenomenal player,
and athletic, and can jump out the gym, can run with the men. If there's somebody who's built for that, even though Luka a little bigger, it's you.
But if Anthony Edwards comes to you and says before game one, I want Kyrie, do you fight him on it?
No, you don't have to fight him on it, but then you got obvious mismatch with Luka.
And they did, and they killed him on it. And
in fairness, it was already a mismatch with Kyrie because you can't hold Kyrie either.
He couldn't. And you said it. He was in his bag last night, and he had every trick going. And I was talking about this with a former NBA player who runs a combine here in Duncanville, a guy named Pete Michael. I remember he played with the Mavs a little bit, and he was convinced because he had worked with the Timberwolves that this era we don't have a lot of little guys left in the NBA. We've got Jalen Brunson, who's fun to watch, Kyrie, who's spectacular to watch, but we're watching something in this guy that is really, really special. And just because how many 6'2" guys are magicians with the basketball anymore? Because now we're used to and almost numb to 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" guys acting like little guys because they can.
Yeah, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a perfect example of that point guard. He's big, long, and can do all those things. But yeah, Kyrie has a bag. He's probably one of the most skilled players ever. I would compare him to his dribbling and all of that to Isaiah Thomas and those guys. And he can shoot with either hand, left hand, right hand. He can take you. But Luka is the difference.
Hands down. Okay, but let's. We're going to go on to one Cowboys topic before we take a break. Cowboys OTAs are currently ongoing, which is what you have been covering. And obviously the topic du jour isn't really so much the Cowboys or even Rangers. It is the fact that we have two teams now in the Western Conference Finals of their respective leagues. And Dak Prescott said yesterday he was motivated by the success of the world champion Rangers and the fact that the other two teams in this area are in the finals. Clarence, you talked to him yesterday for a few minutes. He dropped an F-bomb in there, if I remember correctly. Do you think any of those guys really genuinely feel heat by the fact that everybody else in town has gone to the conference championship or won championships since this team has even sniffed an NFC title game?
Well, first of all, it's funny. We had a little fun on Twitter the other day about things that I elicit from guys. And I was the one who asked Dak that question. Are you jealous of the Mavs? You jealous? I said, no. Are you envious? Then that's when it brought that answer. And he did throw down an F-bomb or expletive. I don't know what we can use here, But yeah, I mean, I do believe that they feel they understand the cloud that's hanging over them. They understand what's being said about them. I mean, you wrote the little layup column after everybody killed them over the weekend about last time since a team in the area has been to the finals. And it's easy. It's like the running joke. They understand.
I feel a little offended. I'm hurt. You said I took the easy way out, killing Jerry for all in when all these other teams.
The layup. Take the layups. It was
I miss a lot of those. So
it was like yesterday after Dak spoke. I said, guys, we got a story for today. I mean,
what I want to know is
just take the layup.
Do you think those guys really
finish this? They understand, okay? They're not oblivious to what's being said about them, about the franchise. And so, yeah, they are jealous. They understand winners. They understand how Rangers were celebrated. They want to feel some of that. They want to feel how the Mavericks and Luka's being celebrated. Of course they see that. And it is personal with them, especially with so much has been said about the Cowboys not winning in 28 years. Dak only winning 2 playoff games. They're not being able to win playoffs on the road.
I can't, what's crazy? I can't even, sometimes when you throw those numbers out, those statistics and achievements, and I've written them down 100 times, you've written them down 100 times, and I forget, I'm like, 2 playoff wins. Is that it? I'm like, yeah, that's it. It's mind numbing to me sometimes. I'm like, there's no way that's right. No, that's right. Okay, we've got more to talk about here, but first, we're going to take a break to hear from our great friends at Window Nation.
Window Nation, the star of window replacement and proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys, can help you fill the house this season with savings. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and make no interest payments for 60 months, 5 full years. Fill your house for a customized authentic Dallas Cowboys jersey while supplies last. You could even help fill the Cowboys house and win tickets to a game. Visit windownation.com/Cowboys now for details. Call 866-95-NATION. Window Nation, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
All right. Thank you very much, Window Nation. Back here on Cowboys Overtime, StarTelegram.com. He's Clarence Hill. I'm Mac Engel, and we are going to discuss the topic that will never go away, nor will it ever, even after we are all long gone, and that is the status of Dak Prescott's contract. Since Dak was like a second or third year player, this subject has just sort of hovered around him and this team for forever. And it's just mind-numbingly dull now, but we do have to talk about it because he was asked about it. And the one thing he did say, because he was honest, he's like, and the way I read through it, like, my agent's going to take care of that. That's why I hired that. And when a player says my agent's going to take care of that, that means there's not going to be any discount, nor should there be for that matter. Clarence, do you really ever think that Dak taking less, because we've seen some other players do it in order to make salary cap issues fit? Tom Brady did it in New England. Did you ever think that was realistically on the table here for Dak?
No, and I don't know what taking less is, and so let me just give you a backdrop of this,
okay.
Because it's because I was, again, Dak went viral again with that. It was like, I knew as soon as I got home, Sports Center was going to have Dak talking about the Mavs, and Dak talking about, I would
these all your questions.
I don't play for money, and all this other stuff, and really it was Mike McCarthy talking about Dak focus during the offseason and focus doing OTAs and how he's able to compartmentalize, even though he's under, obviously in these contract talks, and that's on his hanging over his head because he was compartmentalized. And Dak was like, when I'm here, I play for the love of the game. I'm not playing for money. But what I'm saying, when he's practicing, he is. That's true. He can compartmentalize. I'm focused when I'm not even focused because I got my agent handling money. It doesn't mean I'm taking less. He talked about how the last time during the contract negotiation, it was personal, and he got offended, and he was, he was a 4th round pick, and he was trying to get some respect, and get paid, and get made whole and get paid like his peers. And so, those things, that protracted contract talks, it was personal. And this time, he's not taking it personally, he's letting it go. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. He's not getting offended or taking it personal or whatever else because, he understands, he believes in himself, and his agent's going to take care of it. But so what's the value? And this I've been, talking to people I'm blue in the face. I mean, there are people, agents, people based on what Dak's made, based on what would be if they could put the franchise tag on him, he could command $60 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did Jared Goff just get?
He just got 53, but he could command 60. So my point is, what is less? If Dak says, I'm not going to get 60, I'm going to take less. Are we okay with 55? Will that make everybody happy? Are we okay with 53? What number's palatable that say that Dak took less? Because it ain't going to be 45.
No, I think look, these guys get a short window to make the money that they're going to make. And I remember Emmitt Smith telling me one time, speaking of name drop, he said, you don't realize until your career is over that, there's not a lot of opportunities, people knocking on the door to give you $300,000, right? And a lot of former players who are, they're working regular jobs, right? They're selling real estate or whatever else. And those guys are making, $300,000. So you've got this opportunity and you better capitalize on it now. And one of the lessons that I learned when I was young covering pro sports is, from a fan's perspective, you have more in common, far more in common with the player than you do the owner. And you should always support the player, because if you were in that position, you would do the exact same thing. I think the hard part, the bummer part for me as a sports fan, knowing how this all works, is that you want to be able to see your team be in a position where they can do everything they can to accommodate everybody and kind of go for it, be all in. And I look at, like, let's Cincinnati's going through right now with T. Higgins. T. Higgins is coming up in a contract year. He's going to play on the last year of his deal. And then the Bengals are going to lose him because they had to pay Joe Burrow the big money. They're going to have to pay Jamar Chase, obviously top dollar, and they're going to lose a great player. And I think if you're a fan of that team, you're like, oh man, why can't they figure out how to, because that's just the way it is. And I think with Dak and the Cowboys, the part that you would kill the Cowboys, I'm like, hey, look, you've been doing all this and you're still not where you say you want to be, or even trying to be where you ought to be. And that's the frustrating part when you look at what the Mavericks and the Stars are doing. They were close and they made moves to kind of to be all in. And the Cowboys are obviously really close and they haven't done that. So now they're in this position where they're going to get, I still think they're going to give this guy a ton of money, but in the same sense, even if he took less, Clarence, by $2 million, he doesn't take 55, he takes 53, or he doesn't take 56, he takes 54. Right. Do you really think that would dramatically alter how they've addressed this offseason and being all in? Neither do I.
No, and putting it back, I was talking to someone else about this today. And
Spud Webb, any other great NBA or NFL players? Greg Ellis,
Jock Taylor.
Okay, the great JJT.
How about this? It's like, and listen, I've supported Dak. I mean, I think Dak should get his money. I should get his pay. But I am of no illusion that Dak Prescott, as good as what he does, is what Luka and Kyrie are what they do.
No way.
Okay,
nope.
I'm not any illusion. He's as good a football player as Luka is a basketball player. He's the leader of the Cowboys, which ultimately is the Cowboys' problem. Is that when you win, you have Hall of Famers. Okay, you got special players doing special things. Dak is getting what he should get as a top quarterback, as the quarterback of the Cowboys. But is he Hall of Fame special? I'm not under the illusion that he is.
But let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you think he's better than Jared Goff?
I do. He's been better than Jared Goff his entire career. They both came in the same rookie class.
That's
I
right.
don't think Jared Goff is Hall of Fame special.
Do you think he's better than Brock Purdy?
Yes, I think he's better than Brock Purdy.
So if you put Dak on the Lions and you put Dak on San Francisco, they would have done just as well last season.
Or more, yes. For sure.
I agree with you. Do you think he's as good as, say, Joe Burrow or Patrick? Obviously not.
I don't think he's Patrick Mahomes good. I don't think he's Joe Burrow good. I think he's better than Matt Stafford.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the thing that I always want to support the player. I'm like, go get it. The part that frustrates me as a fan, as I watch the Cowboys just sitting on their hands. Well, let's watch the leaves fall. I'm like, you've said this is a problem, and what are you doing to do anything about it? Nothing.
But the problem is that Dak's gonna get the brunt of the blame. He's gonna get paid.
Do you think he'll get more of the blame than, say, Jerry or Steven? Or
because Jerry or Steven ain't going nowhere.
That's true.
I was talking today, so Jock asked me this question about, whether the players feel it more than the owners. And I said, well, the owners got 3 Super Bowls to sleep on at night. He said, you still think they're sleeping on those 3? And yes, they are, because they have won it. These guys have not won it. And Jerry has those 3 Super Bowls, and he still has the richest franchise in sports. He can sleep well at night.
Well, you and I both know, because we're getting older. Yeah. Jerry's an 81-year-old man. His priorities today at 81 are a lot different than 55. He's losing friends now.
There's no desperation. There's no desperation.
None.
Yes, the Cowboys want to, but are they desperate to win?
No. And I remember when they had lost the playoff game a couple of years ago, and I was talking to one of the Joneses, and they were talking about how just crushed they were, that everybody in the family felt that. So right. I was relaying this message to a player, and the player had been with the franchise for a long time, and he says, I don't believe any of that. He said, why? I said, why? He said, you really know? He said, no. He said, I think they want to win. But his point was, how are you really, really bothered that much when, A, there's really no consequences to losing that game, and 2, you are encased in so much wealth that losing a football game, yeah, you want to win, but what's really the penalty? None. And I couldn't disagree with him. You get older and you realize, he's probably right. And as it relates to Dak or any of that other stuff, I think Jerry wants to win. I believe that in my every.
Of course, I agree.
But to the extent that you feel like that's necessary to do it, to make bold. No, I just don't think it's there anymore. And I don't even know if it is. I like the guy a lot. I don't even know if it is with Steven. Do you?
No, again, the desperation is not there. There's no desperation, and again, the consequences are not the same because again, they get to go home, Highland Park, fly in the helicopter over there. The stadium is sold out. You know, they got concerts coming in.
World Cup.
Players is a short window. Dak's career is a short window. Romo's career is a short window, and it lives with them forever. Romo will ever be saddled with that. You know, that's part of their legacy. That is not Jerry's ultimate legacy because he got 3 rings.
3 rings? He's in the Hall of Fame.
The Troy Aikman Super Bowl parties and talk about the good old days. There's no good old days with Dak and these guys, okay?
All right, let's go on. Then let's go on to the last topic here on Cowboys Overtime, and that is there are a couple players who are not going to these what do voluntary OTAs, including CeeDee Lamb and the linebacker, defensive lineman, Micah Parsons, because he would rather box than participate in OTAs. Now, I'm going to say this. Boxing workouts are the best workouts on the planet. So I'm all in on this. If Micah Parsons is crazy enough, and hopefully he's not sparring, if he ain't sparring with headshots and he's just doing
he took a body shot and he couldn't take it.
You're damn right, because that's a business decision.
They took that stomach shot and couldn't take it from a little bitty boxer compared to him.
Oh, those guys know how to land a punch. Clarence, I sparred one time with this young kid, and he landed. This was a couple of years ago. And the whole thing was you just do chest shots. That's it. And I took a punch, and I missed. And, man, he counted on me and nailed me in my side. He was a young kid. He was like 20 years old. And I'm laughing. I'm like, okay, that's good. We're good. And so I'm all in favor of this. I'm assuming, is everybody out at the Star all in favor of Micah Parsons' approach to now preparing for, I don't know, to fight Tyson Fury?
It's funny because it's football is such a caste system, and they always take away. We're all equal. We're all the
No,
same.
you're not.
You know, let Sam Williams say, "I'm going to stay away from OTAs and do boxing, workout, and do it." Let half the team do this. And I was trying to corner Mike McCarthy because he was trying to say all the right thing. We asked in the press conference about Micah, and Micah's in great shape, and Micah's checking in with us. I said, "Don't you want all your players here?" We have these, he's taking advantage of all these resources in DFW that you can work out in. So what if every player decided to take advantage of outside resources and not show up for OTAs? Is that what you want? But every player is not Micah Parsons. It's like every player is not Michael Irvin. You know, it was like Jimmy Johnson said one time, the
backup running back falls asleep and
gets cut, but if Michael Irvin or Troy Aikman falls asleep, it's going to wake him up. Yep. You know, it's different. It's funny because I was watching something the other day on online. Like everything's online, and Bill Belichick was talking about Lawrence Taylor, and Lawrence Taylor was late to his meeting. Okay, and when Bill Belichick was defensive coordinator under Bill Parcells. And so these are two known hard butt coaches, okay?
Right.
Disciplinarian, and I'm going to take no track. So he was complaining to Bill Parcells, great Bill Parcells, the Cowboy Lord as well, that Lawrence Taylor was late to the meeting. And Bill Parcells says, "Why did you start the meeting before he got there?"
I think I'd seen that. Why did you start it 20 minutes later or whatever it was?
Why did you start the meeting before he got there? So Micah's special. He's in a different category. He can miss OTAs. He's been doing sumo wrestling and everything else all across the world. Now he's back in town with the Mal game. But hey, I'm not going to OTAs. I'll be there next week. I'm going to finish these boxing workouts. But there's no question he's going to be in great shape. He was in great shape last year. He's going to be in great shape. But the problem here, if we do have a problem, is after the Super Bowl. After the Cowboys lost during the Super Bowl. He went on his show talking about the culture and how he's going to change the culture and he's going to lock in. And, we need to lock in so we can win, okay?
I agree.
Tell me how you're changing the culture by not being here with your teammates.
You can't.
How are you locking in with your teammates if you're doing your thing on your own, getting ready on your own?
Nope, you can't. You can't. If you're going to be that, if you're going to aspire to that, if you're going to be a do as I say, then you have to do it. Because if not, you're just to say.
And that's what Dak does. And that's the difference with Dak. He's not a great player. He's not as great as what he does as Micah Parsons. But that's why he's such a great leader, because he's out there doing everything with everybody.
And I think that goes a long way. People see that. And then I think the other one, the one that screamed to me, Des Bryant used to be renowned for that. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. And then 2 weeks into camp, 2 weeks into the offseason, they couldn't find him. And he's still a great player, but and no one questioned his care or want to once the regular season began. And I don't question that about Micah Parsons at all. But you cannot be this team guy, teamwork. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Hey, where are you? Yeah, I'm going to go. You stay here. I'm going to go there. It's just a bad look. Okay, we've talked about this forever. Dallas Stars game 1 tonight against the Edmonton Oilers. That's at the American Airlines Center. Dallas Mavericks game 2 in Minneapolis. That's tomorrow night. That series comes to the American Airlines Center on Sunday. Dallas Cowboys OTAs and offseason continues for a couple more weeks. The Texas Rangers, unfortunately, are under 500 for the first time in the history of Bruce Bochy's career with the club. It's not that long. And the PGA Tour is at Fort Worth's Colonial Country Club for the Charles Schwab Challenge this week.
Is anybody going to be there?
Scotty Scheffler, if he can get out of jail. If he can get out of jail.
Is Scotty Scheffler scheduled to play?
Yes, he's playing. Now, here's the crazy part. He's playing. Jordan Spieth is going to be there. Zach Johnson's going to be there. And I'll say this.
Tell the Fort Worth police.
Yeah, take it easy.
Leave Scotty alone.
Right, that's right. Not that. Don't put him in an orange jumpsuit just yet. All right. For all that, please.
And don't jump on cars.
And don't jump on cars. That's right. It was funny. Yesterday, Jordan Spieth was available, and somebody in the media asked him. They said, "Hey, you guys on the tour kind of give you're guys. You give yourself a hard time, play pranks and whatnot. Will you do that about the Scotty Scheffler arrest?" And Spieth was like, that's a little sensitive. Too soon. All right. Thanks a lot, Clarence. Thank you, Candy. Be sure to check us out on StarTelegram.com. We'll see you next week.